Hi, this is Robert Kuhn, Director of International Campaigns.
Por la vida en Colombia está lleno de frutos.
Es losen und manche dann sagen, ja, es ist nicht mehr so.
People start saying that, if your thoughts fall foul of the popular opinion, that they're somehow criminal.
Mi hija ha decidido no abortar.
Our freedom in a democracy, in our open society, begins with the freedom of speech.
Ante todo, los pilares de 40 días, ¿no? La oración, el ayuno, la loca.
So sometimes it's just a little thing that we have to do. So
también dignidad, que son creados también por
But
Dios.
Beyond what we say, anything we do at 40 Days for Life, anything we say to defend the unborn, we do with love.
Los bebés no tienen que ser abortados de una madre.
40 Days for Life International Podcast.
El podcast de 40 días por la vida internacional.
Well, hello and welcome to the 40 Days for Life International Podcast. My name is Robert Cahoon. I'm the Director of International Campaigns for 40 Days for Life. And I'm really honoured and blessed today to be with Petra Milkovic, who is the Vice President of Croatia for Life, but also the national leader for 40 Days for Life in Croatia, which has been going almost 10 years, I believe, and they've done absolutely incredible things in Croatia. They've taken the campaign all over the country. They've seen Save Babies and got a phenomenal national movement going, which has had an impact on the country. Almost every town and city has signed up for the campaign in Croatia. I've been blessed to go there 5 times. Croatia's got a beautiful Dalmatian coastline, incredible for tourism. It also has a very rich history, incredible history of in recent years, not just the Yugoslav war, but also communism post World War II. But there's a lot of young people there, but there's also a strong Catholic contingent in Croatia as well. And not only that, that they also invented the parachute and also the tie. They have played a phenomenal part in 40 Days for Life in the last 10 years, a very strong contingent of our European arm of 40 Days for Life. And it's been a real honor and a blessing visiting many times to Croatia. First, rate, review, and share this podcast and video. Please go to 40daysforlifeinternational.com as well, as we grow the international campaign more and more. But Petra, how are you today? It's a real honor and blessing to see you today.
Thank you, Robert, for calling. And I'm good. I'm pretty excited because of this podcast.
And tell us a little bit about yourself, Petra, as well. And you're a mother. You also worked full-time for the pro-life movement for quite a number of years. And how did you first get involved in the pro-life movement?
Yes, I'm a wife and mother. I'm married to Vida. He's my husband, and we have 4 children, 2 here on earth with us, and 2 we believe with Jesus. And we are living in Zagreb. Zagreb is capital of Croatia, and in Zagreb we started 10 years ago, as you said, 40 Days for Life in Croatia. First was in Zagreb, and then we moved all through the Croatia. So first we started. When I first heard about the initiative, I was at one conference. It was 2013, and there was a lot of going on in Croatia. We have that referendum on marriage and a lot of other stuff. And when we went to that conference, we got plenty of ideas because whole Europe was watching Croatia, what is happening there. And we got a lot of them. But then one girl, she approached to us and she said, we closed 2 abortion facilities in London through 40 Days for Life. And I never heard about 40 Days for Life before. But in that moment, when she said that, there was a fire started in my heart, and it's still going on 10 years after. And then in that 2013, she connected me with you, Robert. We had a few meetings, but I really didn't know too much people in Croatia, and who to ask to join me. So we paused that autumn campaign. And I remember when I met her a few years after that in London conference, she said, when you said that you won't do that first autumn campaign, I thought that there will never be anything from Croatia, but God had other plan, because at the same time, our Ante Čarkušić, my friend and colleague in this pro-life movement, he was praying. Till Christmas that year, 2013. He said to God, I give you till Christmas to answer my prayers, to answer what I need to do with my life. He was already involved in pro-life with one great priest here in Croatia. His name is Father Marko Glogović, and he was connected with him, and with Ante, and his wife was also connected in pro-life movement. But he wanted God to answer what to do. And at Christmas Eve, he met after Mass. He met that friend who was with me at the conference, and they went to the house, with some Christmas cookies and stuff, and they were talking, and he asked Ante, "Have you ever heard about 40 Days for Life?" And Ante didn't hear it, and he said, "I know one girl who wanted to start it, but she need backup, she need other people." And Ante said, "Okay, I was praying for God to answer my prayers," and they said, "Sit in front of nativity scene, and open the Bible," and they open 2 Chronicles, "If my people humble," etc. And Ante said, "Okay, I don't understand what does this mean, but I accept that I will be leader of 40 Days for Life." And on Christmas morning, that friend called him and said, "I will send you promotional video of 40 Days for Life. Please look at the first sentence." And the first sentence was, "If my people humble," that from 2 Chronicles, that's the main sentence from 40 Days for Life. And he called me. He said, "I heard that you want to 40 Days for Life in Croatia." We connected. We started in St. Joseph's Parish in Zagreb, in one small classroom. And I didn't know anyone from there. And now we are friends and family, I can say.
Wow, and that's absolutely incredible. 2 Chronicles 7:14. "If my people who are called by my name will humble themselves and seek my face, then I will hear from heaven and I will heal their land." That's a foundational scripture passage for us, but it was like Bible bingo for you, because you realized the spiritual significance of that passage, and then coincidentally you saw it twice. Ante saw that twice, and that was really at the beginnings. And I think there was a white dove at the beginning, wasn't there, as well, that he saw a white dove at the very first day of the campaign, and saw that saw that significant too.
Yes, when we first started it was then Lent 2014 when we had first campaign in Zagreb, and he saw that white bird there, and he said, "Okay, this is Holy Spirit really working with us on this." And we didn't expect to have 36 to 40 cities. It depends on campaign. We really started it, with full heart, and we just wanted to do something. But that first campaign, Osijek, that the city in Slavonia on the east of Croatia, they called us and they said that they want to put some support, and they went out in front of their hospital for 2 times a week, and then full involved in autumn campaigns. So at the first campaign we have 1 city, then 6, then 10, and etc. We now have 36 cities applied for this campaign that is coming.
Wow, and the hospitality in Croatia is pretty special. You have a lot of tourists every year, and I've really been touched by the welcome. That Croatians are very friendly people. They're very down to earth, and tell us a little bit about Croatian hospitality. So I've always felt incredibly welcome being there. And I always call when I call someone from outside Croatia to come here. I said we have really good food, really nice coast, and I think that I know when you
who are coming here, who give us review on how was it. You always say that we are great, so that's your verse. It's not good to speak for ourselves, but I think that we have good food, good people here, and we really have a big community and big around 2,000 people praying every campaign throughout whole Croatia, and I believe that there is a lot more who are supporting, who are praying from their homes, in their parishes, in their churches. So I hope that everyone who is listening now will come to Croatia to see themselves that everything is so nice here.
Give us just a bit of sort of background about the sort of cultural and political situation in Croatia. What's the abortion law, and how are conservative values kind of holding up in the country? Are you getting a lot of the liberal values coming through into Croatia, or is it that there are strong conservative Christian values which are embedded in the Croatian culture, which are very strong? Where do things stand, especially in comparison to other European countries?
Well, we like to say for ourselves that we are Catholic country. Official, we have around 80% of Catholics. That's really big number when you look in other countries of Europe. We still have a pretty much conservative let's say mindset, and people love life and so on, but throughout media you wouldn't say that, because there is really big battle happening now because of abortion and because of other stuff. Here in Croatia we have law from 1976. It's not Croatian law, it's Yugoslavian law, and it's really paradox, because we don't have any other law from Yugoslavia, just this one. We left it because Croatia from 1990 from 1990s it's not anymore in Yugoslavia, but we still have that law. And our highest court in Croatia, they said that that law needs to be changed. It was, I don't know, 2 or 3 years ago, but nothing happened, because not one political party want to involve in that question, because it's a question that is really hot, and nobody want to speak about that. But we need to say that until we started this campaign, 40 Days for Life, there wasn't much talking in media about abortion, but in the last 10 years we can see it, because we made that topic public. We went out and it's now public, and everyone is talking about that, and it's really a lot in media, on television, and everything.
That is so important, because you've got to go out, and we've got to be proactive. We're activists, and we have to meet people where they're at, and we have to hit where the rubber hits the road. It's like a lot of people disagree with us, but if we can't spark a national debate or a conversation, or at least initiate change, then we can't just sit here and accept the status quo. And that's what's so beautiful about standing in public on not everyone agrees with you, and you're engaging with people who feel strongly about an emotional topic, which is controversial for some. But we're able to reach people where they're at, and that's how we can touch hearts and minds. And and just seeing that fly around the whole country is such a joy to watch. I remember coming to the country in 2014. It was one of the first mission trips that I did nearly 10 years ago. Just had a new baby and got married the year before, and wow, it just blew my mind of just suddenly all these doors open. In the UK, it's a much more hostile culture here. It's more secular. There's more hostility towards pro-lifers. With Croatia, none of those things apply, because the country is much more open, much more tolerant, much more Christian values are more strongly embedded. So, one country can be difficult, and another country there can be loads and loads of openings. And it's just blown me away what you've achieved in Croatia is a really dynamic, vibrant national campaign, and that's absolutely beautiful. And public prayer is something that does change hearts and minds, and we've seen that all the way around the world. What have been some of the funny things that have happened? Just sort of the unexpected things, and it always does. Things don't always go to plan. Things don't always go to plan. Of have all the best of intentions, but it's funny when sort of unexpected things, but particularly on conferences and stuff, when it's always the unexpected thing that makes it sort of interesting and exciting. So yeah.
Well, last campaign was it was funny for me, not for that city that was happening there, because they had one vigil place, I don't know, 8 years now or 7 years now, and they were, nobody's verbal attacking them or physical. We don't have that in Croatia. That's not so common. And they were there, and 2 days or 3 days before campaign, the city said that they can't be on their vigil place. They need to be somewhere else because they need to cure some tree there was in front of that vigil place. And okay, it's really old tree, and it's okay. And why was that funny for me? Because we just I know how to say it on English, but we felt good. It was good where we are, and we didn't expect problems in that city. So local leader there, he was really frustrated because they moved them 2 days before campaign on the one side, on the other side of the city, and then on the 20th day in the middle of campaign, they city found out that on that new place they put them, they were more visible. Everyone from the city, it was the main square, and everyone saw them. So on the 20th day of campaign, they moved them back, and they said that they cured that tree, and they can move back to their old vigil places. So in my head there was like that part when Peter said to Jesus, "It's good for us to be here." We just felt that we will never have problems there. So it was funny because the reason was funny. I know that they needed to do that, but the reason was really funny. So yes, we have that. It can cause some complications, but it's not so bad. We don't have so much attacks, physical attacks in Croatia. It happens 2 or 3 times, but police are really good. We really cooperate with police really good here in Croatia. They protect us if there is any need. So I don't know. I think that we have physical attacks maybe three times through these 10 years. That's really not so much. Verbal attacks, that's normal. And about conference and stuff, of course there is always some technical issues or something, and we have that big conference when you were last time here, 10th national meeting of all our organization teams. It wasn't funny for me then, but you were speaking, and my son came and he said, "Mommy, something is scratching me here." And I in that moment I knew that he has some allergical attack, and his lips were starting to blow, and I was like, "Okay, Robert, you just speak. I will take him to hospital and come back later." And then the doctor there, she asked what he was eating, and he didn't eat anything else that he doesn't eat every day, And she said, maybe there was something contaminated with something that he's allergic to. And I was like, no, he's allergic to pro-life. That's pro-life what happened to him, but everything was good, of course, after it. So that wasn't funny for me then, but that things happen, spiritual attacks happen when we have something big, and that 10th national meeting was really big for us. So everything, we are used to it, unfortunately. but we are used that there will always be spiritual attack, but we know that we are on the side of the winner, and Jesus is with us. We are not scared.
That's right. Well, glad to hear that your baby was okay at the end after having that. And yeah, it's interesting how, you know, things can go wrong. It can be a spiritual attack. It can be just an accidental mistake. But
yes.
Big part of Croatian history is in Vukovar is one of the cities that has the most number of abortions in Croatia. But that was also a very important city during the Yugoslav war, I believe. And tell us a little bit about Vukovar, why that city is so important. You've had a really good vigil there with Lydia Duggan for many years now, and now doing post-abortion ministry. Tell us about the context of the Yugoslav war and also why Vukovar is so important.
Yes, we had war 30 years ago. We were in Yugoslavia, and Croatia was part of Yugoslavia, communist Yugoslavia. And when we wanted to get out, we had 4 years war. It was a really big war. A lot of people died, and Vukovar is our city. It's also involved in 40 Days for Life now, and it's city on the east, almost on the border, with Serbia, and we have Vukovar. It was totally ruined. You know, everything was
bombed to pieces,
down, bombed, and everything. And a lot of people are still missing there. We had a big, massive grave, if you say that, with on Ovčara where 260, and I know exactly, people were moved from hospital and killed there on that field, and everything. And what is important for Vukovar, and why are you mentioning it, that Vukovar was center for abortion in Yugoslavia.
Yeah.
So the most abortions in whole Yugoslavia were in Vukovar, and in war it happened. It's happened that it was a whole ruined, and whole nobody left there. People went out. Some of them escaped. Some of them unfortunately couldn't. And when you found out that spiritual background about abortions and everything, we started to do some big things there now, because we found out on that Ovčara, why I mentioned it, there was a woman killed. She was 6 months pregnant, and we went there 2015. We had the national meeting. I know how much cities were involved, 10 or 11 that time, and we were there all from Croatia. And Lydia's father, he's really important. He was really important in Vukovar during war, and he knows a lot of stuff there. And he showed us everything. And we went to Ovčara, and we saw. He said that there was 200 people who was killed there. 62 or so they are still missing, and for that 200 people there were 200 bushes, planted there. But he said that one woman was 6 months pregnant, and then Ante said, and what about that baby? Where is that 201st bush there? And we started to think what to do, and how can we symbolically, put something there, because it was unborn baby, and we are pro-lifers, and we wanted to do something, and we couldn't do anything on that Ovčara field where that all happened. And then Lydia said, okay, why wouldn't we do something in front of hospital where we're praying, where there is vigil there? So because that Ružica, that was her name, she was taken from hospital to that place where she was killed. And then we said, okay, we will do something for her in front of hospital. And we 2 years ago we made big statue in human proportions with her unborn baby. She's pregnant. There is pregnant woman. Her name is Ružica. We called it Rose of Croatia. that statue. We called it that way. We have a documentary I sent you a few months ago that is also translated to English, so everyone can see it on our YouTube channel. How was it, and to see the background on in Vukovar, to learn more about it, and in abortion there, and about that statue we built.
It's great. Well, that statue is absolutely incredible. A beautiful project to be involved in, to have a statue of a pregnant woman, and with the history you mentioned and how spiritually significant Vukovar is. And how did you get so much support? You just mentioned how you went from one campaign to 6 to 10 to up to what is it, 36 cities now. How did you get that support? Was it people coming to you? How were you connecting with people, and how did that happen?
Well, we have people who called us and connected with us. We never we never make anything by force, by our will. It's really God's will, because people saw that campaign in Zagreb, then called us. They want to get involved. So that's how we started to spread. It's really something. I'm now reading again 40 Days for Life, that first book that David Pirate and Sean Carney wrote. And how they also said that people were calling for that first national campaign. And that's happening. Exactly the same thing happened in Croatia. People started to call. They wanted to start campaigns. We still have many parishes, a lot of priests who are supporting us, and that's really important. As I said, that we are mostly Catholic country. People like to have support from their parish priest, and a lot of them still open the door for us to say what we need to say, that we have campaigns, or that we are doing that pro-life mission. I don't know. And there is a lot of that's I think really important. Every campaign we send to all monasteries in Croatia, Croatian monasteries, to pray for us. So we have a really big support. I think that without that we couldn't do anything.
And tell us about some of the spiritual blessings that you've received. Like, some people have got married. You've also had babies that have been saved, and I've managed to meet some of those babies that have been saved from abortion thanks to your vigils. And that also you've had a very strong social element with a lot of young Croatians participating too. Tell us of all the spiritual blessings that that have happened from your pro-life apostolate.
So at the beginning, when we started 4 Days for Life, we at the same year we started for Croatia for Life, as you said. That's in NGO, and 40 Days for Life is working under Croatia for Life here in Croatia. And we had a lot of other programs, not just 40 Days for Life. I mention it because of these spiritual fruits we have and blessings, because we found out that we need to, when we spared life, we need to take care about that baby and that mother. That's how, for now, we know about 130 babies spared from abortion.
Wow, that's amazing. That's incredible.
Yes, it's really amazing. And we still helping 40 families in Croatia from month. So we have through Croatia for Life, we have a team who are taking care for pregnant women and for mothers and families, and we call them "You are not alone," because those words save the most babies, because mothers are often frightened. They are thinking that they are alone, and when you said, "Okay, you are not alone," that are the words that are saving those babies. So we know about 130 babies spared from abortions. We know for 10 and 10s, how do you say it, for a lot of women who went to that program for post-abortion wounds that our Lydia Dugan is leading. We have program for fathers also, although fathers don't call us so often as mothers do. And then we have program for for people, for young and for young people about pre and martial chastity. We have a lot of other programs, and that are all spiritual blessings. From that, from 40 days, from the beginning we started that are all spiritual blessings. But of course, that children are the that's why we are doing that, and when you have a baby who needed to be aborted, and when you have it in your arms, then you know that every rain you must stay when it was raining, when it was snowing, when it was really warm, and you were staying there, and you thought, okay, this doesn't have any. It doesn't mean anything, but it means, we need to be there. We need to be there in front of hospital for that mothers and for that fathers and for babies, because every soul counts, and every baby is worth that fight.
And what about some of the couples that have met? That you've had several couples as well, haven't you? So.
Yes, I met my husband also because of 40 Days for Life, because he was working in one NGO before that, and that NGO wanted to give us a reward that year on their big conference, and I went there with Ante. Ante had speech, and then I met my husband there also, and there was a lot of people met in front of hospital who was praying together, and now are married and have children. So we have I know around 10 couples.
10, wow.
That way, yes.
So it's like we should start a dating agency or something.
Yes, but the date is in front of hospital. So if you want to go to cafe before, you need to go to the beach.
Well, we're quite a good screening process, because people that do get involved are fairly serious, and they're strong in their faith, and they're quite serious. So that in and of itself is quite a good screening process if you're looking for a spouse. So somebody with similar values. This emotional connection that you mentioned of holding a baby in your arms that has been saved from abortion. If we can actually build that emotional connection with abortion, people have got really strong feelings about abortion, either for or against, and it's a controversial, it evokes strong feelings. But if you can describe or articulate, I've held a baby that's been saved from abortion in my arms many times, and that's been an incredible experience of knowing the spiritual significance of what we're doing, of prayer, and also connecting prayer with abortion as well. A lot of people wouldn't make that connection with prayer and fasting and abortion. One's about spiritual things, and the other is about the ending of the life of an innocent unborn child. But to actually make those connections, not only the emotional connection with abortion, but also how spiritually we can connect with the pro-life movement and with abortion. And when we do those things, then if people really understand, what it is we're doing and why we're doing it, if people get the why, then the how becomes easy. So how do you how do you understand and articulate, what it means to save a baby's life and the spiritual importance of that? What are some of the women you've helped, just a little bit of their stories and how they sort of came to be?
When we find out that there is a woman who want to abort, we usually send to our large group of people who are praying, not just through 40 Days for Life vigil, but through all Croatia, and we send them to pray. Because that's what you are talking about the spiritual background, the spiritual fight in pro-life. Because we found out that sometimes you can offer everything, financial help, emotional help, spiritual help to that woman, but they will still go to abortion, and that's why we always have that pray and fast background, someone who is holding our back, and we often we call it night guards. When we know that someone will go to abortion, we feel whole night before with people praying, waking up every half hour to pray. So that's how people are spiritual connected with that baby. Maybe they will never meet baby who is spared from abortion, but they are spiritual connect with that baby because they pray for baby and for mother and for father, for everyone involved. And we have really, really nice stories here in Croatia. The one that I'm emotionally connected with is little Nika. Nika is starting school now.
Wow.
She's 7 years old almost.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm connected because I was the one who was the first contact with that mother, and we all have we know for 130 babies spared from abortion, but when you are connected with someone that makes your emotional, you're more emotional about it. So I was connected with her mother, and I know, and she's still talking about this. She said that when she first met me, it was really weird, because what I said to her was congratulations, mother, and nobody told her congratulations because she was pregnant. And I hugged her, and she was like, oh my God, someone who I don't know is hugging me in the middle of the street. But I wanted her to feel allowed, to feel that we really love her and her baby, and that we will really take care of her and her baby Nika, and we really did. Nika is now, as I said, 7 years old, and she was also in Rome in Vatican, when we met Pope Francis. We brought Nika and her mother Dalia with us, and that's when Pope said to us that we are fighting the biggest fight, and not to stop it. He said, like Ante is saying, he just put his arm like this, and his fist, and he did, and he said, fight. And Nika was blessed by Pope, and that was the blessing for whole pro-life movement in Croatia and for whole 40 Days for Life here and in the world. So we are we were really excited because we could bring her to that such a big thing for her life and for 40 Days for Life here. And also one story that is I think really important. Why are we staying in front of hospitals? Why is that important? It's our mom Laura, and she was passing. She went. We don't have abortion facilities. We have hospitals, and she was 17 years old, and she went to hospital for something. She I don't know, but she saw people praying in front of hospital here, and she was so frustrated because we were there. She needed to wrote us down, so she wrote us message on Facebook. You are there. You are
bigots.
Yes, don't be there. You are and so on.
Might hurt somebody's feelings,
Yes, but after 2 years, she was 19 and she got pregnant.
Wow.
And she was already, she had appointment for abortion.
Wow.
Nobody was her support. Her partner said, okay, do what you want. He was like, it wasn't his choice, he thought. And then she was already, she had appointment, and that moment, the last people who she remembered was the people who she saw 2 years ago. And she again write us a message, said that she's pregnant, and said, okay, I just wanted to see what you need, what you can do, for me to keep my baby. And she came the same day there in our Center for Life. We have now 7 centers for life, but we have then we had one in Zagreb, and she came, and now she's wonderful mother, and her partner is wonderful father, and they really, really love their son. But that's why I always say that testimony, because it's important. We never know who will see us. She saw us and remember us 2 years after. So
amazing.
That baby was saved from abortions 2 years before it was even, there. So that's really really great testimony, and it speaks about importance of being at Vigil Place.
And yeah, it's so cool, that story you mentioned about Ante and meeting the Pope and the mum with the safe baby. And that was incredible. You said both parents said save as many lives as possible, fight. It was just absolutely inspirational and so encouraging. That really exemplifies making the emotional connection of, this is a baby that was in a crisis pregnancy, and thanks to the courage of the mum, and thanks to your pro-life work and your support and your willingness to reach out in public and put your neck on the line and get people to say nasty things in you in public, that you put yourself out there, and this is the spiritual fruit. So there's now 7 life centers around Croatia with Croatia for Life. That's pretty cool that you've got 7. Tell us a little bit about Croatia for Life. And so you've got 7 life centers around Croatia. What happens with the life centers, and what are you doing in that regard?
We have, as I said, we have a lot of other programs, and we have 7 centers for life, and we are every of them is for something. I don't know how to say, because people who are working there, who are involved or volunteering in centers for life, they all have different talents, so God is using them for different stuff. We have one in Split, and our Maria there, she's working with women whose children are spared from abortions. They're there all the time. They're coming there for talking, or for, I don't know, they are making rosaries or something, with hand. We are having a center in Zagreb, where we really we have workshops with mothers. We have workshops with our volunteers, meetings. There we also have psychologists and other people helping priests and everyone. So every mother who needs to talk, or who is pregnant or have post-abortion wounds or something like that, she can come to talk with a priest or a psychologist or whoever she needs to talk. Also, we have center in Zagreb, Split, Zadar, Vinkovci, Slavonski Brod, Križevci. Yes, 6 centers for life, and we had one in Vukovar, and still we needed to close it for just permanently because it was a house where nuns were living before, and it was great because there was our center for these retreats, spiritual retreats for mothers with that post-abortion wounds, and we believe that we will open a Center for Life in Vukovar also again. So it's spreading. It would be great that every city have one, because it's a place where mothers can find comfort and friends and family, of course. Yeah,
and part of the Croatian pro-life movement, there's a group called Bethlehem, which helps with women in crisis pregnancies, and I think there's a priest associated with that as well. What's his name? And you've had good spiritual support for your group too. Tell us about that.
So we have a priest that I mentioned on the beginning, Father Marko Blogovic. He is our pro-life veteran, as we said, because he had a pro-life NGO called Bethlehem, and they have houses. We are connected with them also. We are working. We are cooperating together, because sometimes when we have mothers that need accommodation for a few months or a year or something, we call them first if they have place in their houses. So Father Marko Glogovic is our spiritual advisor also, and he's our he's really I know that he's praying all the time for us, and whenever we need, we can call him to ask spiritual advice. But that's on the national level. Whoever calls him, he is able to talk. But of course, every city has their own priest who is who is connected with somehow with them. In Zagreb, we have a priest called Damir Ocirk. You met him in that St. Joseph's parish. He's really great. He really he's really pro-life, and he is really supportive with initiative 40 Days for Life here in Croatia and Croatia for Life.
And how is it that the faith is so strong in Croatia? Is it because of your history of under communism? Is it just as a vibrant young people? How is it that faith is so much stronger in Croatia than it is, for example, in France, in Germany, in Britain, where these countries are heavily secularized? The faith has not reached the young people there. But in Croatia, it has. Now, why is that?
Well, history is for sure something that is connected with it. But we really... I know we still have a lot of parishes that are open. We don't have so much closed parish, or of course that is changing. You know that is also changing, and but we have a lot of parishes, a lot of monasteries, and I think a lot of nuns and priests who are still praying for that. A lot of, as we like to say, a lot of our grandmothers and grandfathers who are still praying rosaries, and that's what is our spiritual, you know, what is our, as I said, what is holding us together, you know. And I hope that young people here will also continue that prayers and rosaries and everything, not to forget it, because it's praying and fasting, as it's in 40 Days for Life also, is the first thing we need to do to have good, you know, good to have a strong house. You need to have strong how you say boundaries. No, you know what I want to say. Okay, so.
Fortifications, or like a castle, or
yes, when you want to build something strong, you can't build it on sand. You need to build it on
a strong foundation. Build it on a strong foundation. Build it on a rock.
So you need to build it on rock. So that's why I think that people are still really praying here. That's why faith still strong. So,
and there's a strong Croatian diaspora around Europe, in other countries, in Germany, in Austria. And you've done some great mission trips to Slovenia, to the US, to the UK. Tell us about some of your neighboring countries and the Croatian. You know, we've got a great campaign in Germany with some strong Croatian volunteers in many of the cities there also. And Medjugorje, of course, is right next door in Bosnia, the neighboring country too. So tell us about some of your mission trips to other countries and the Croatians living in other countries around Europe who've also been inspired by 40 Days for Life.
I remember Sean once said there are Croatians started initiative in Germany, but it still counts. so it was on one of our conferences. I know where we were in London or Florida. I'm not sure. Yes, we started. We have that mission trips. Yes, in Slovenia, in Ljubljana, in Subotica, in Serbia, also in Munich first. When we there is where 40 Days for Life in Germany started, and we have a lot of connections with Bosnia and Herzegovina. Also, they don't have. They had one or two campaigns. They don't have it now, but hopefully that someone will start it again. Yes, we have a lot of connections with Croatian diaspora in all those countries, especially in Germany, and a lot of Croatian people there are involved in 40 Days for Life. So I think, as David once said, David B. Wright, when he was first here in Croatia, it's like light from Croatia is spreading. Croatian people in Germany and in other countries, they are still really religious, and they are. They're used to be involved in that kind of spiritual fight. So it's good that it's spreading. It's good that there are a lot of other nationalities, not just Croatian people in that countries are getting involved.
Mm-hmm.
But I know it's just, it's not our plan. It is God's plan. I know what to say on that. We just need to, watch and hear what he's trying to say to us.
Well, just thinking 10 years ago, like, you didn't have prayer vigils, you didn't have a March for Life, you didn't have 7 life centers all around Croatia, you didn't have a nationwide campaign. And yet all these things have come through. And has that sort of filtered into the political realm? Like, is pro-life laws something of a possibility for Croatia? What sort of impact has happened, like, politically in Croatia? Have there been sort of politicians willing to, take a stab at pro-life legislation, for example?
Well, 40 Days for Life impact is that politicians are really talking about.
So
abortion.
You've initiated the conversation.
Yes. They are starting to talk about it. It's a really common theme in our parliament. They are talking about that a lot. I'm not still sure about that pro-life war. We are praying, we are fasting. That's our field. That's what we do. But I think that the climate here changed, and that it's public now. They are talking about it, so we will see.
And you've had loads of international conferences as well in Zagreb, and that's been brilliant, just inviting new people there. And you've also had a theme for each campaign, which has been a great idea. One of them was helping fathers speak out about abortion, and others were post-abortion as a theme. Tell us about some of your themes that you've had for each 40 Days for Life campaign and some of the international conferences that you've hosted. What have been some of the highlights of that?
Well, about that themes in campaigns, when people like every time something new, and we saw that it's important to talk about a lot of different topics. So we have every campaign, we have other theme. So we talked about children with Down syndrome. We talked about fathers that fathers also have wounds from abortions, and we talk about that real man is protecting life. We talked about grandmothers and grandfathers, and what is their importance in this abortion topic. So we have every campaign, we have other theme, and this campaign, this autumn campaign, we will talk about arguments. Our Krunoslav Puškar is writing book about arguments for life. It will be with statistical from Croatia, and it for our country mostly, but arguments are pro-life arguments that are common for all pro-life fighting whole world. And this theme is we will talk about knowledge, not just spiritual part. We will talk about arguments and about knowledge about abortion. And about conferences, we started it 6 years ago. We need to pause one year during all those things that were going on. So we had 5 for now. It's really it's big organization, but
a lot to put on a conference like that, isn't it?
Yes, you know about it. You know what's like to have international conference and organization about it all. But I think that fruits are really spiritual fruits are really big here. in those conference, people are connected. People through whole world are coming. Speakers from whole world. But we had Isabel von Spruce on the last conference. We had a lot of other speakers also. Arne Eli Rodriguez from Madrid also. So we're happy that we can connect people on that way also, because maybe someone won't come in front of hospital for the first time, but it will she or he, they will come to our conference and then learn more about 40 Days for Life, learn more about pro-life movement in Croatia, and then get involved at Vigil Place or something else.
Yeah, because Nayeli, from the national leader in Spain, she came to your conference, and that really kind of, I think she learned a huge amount, because the next thing she went back to Spain and took everything up to like 25 cities in Spain. So whatever happened at that conference was phenomenal, because the next thing was she learned a lot from you, I think, and then took that knowledge and information back to Spain. So if you had a message for our 40 Days for Life leaders and volunteers, what would your message be from Croatia? What would you want to say to our leaders and volunteers around the world?
Well, as I said before, in everything we talked about, every soul counts. So it's maybe it's just one life, maybe whole campaign you won't know for any life. You will find out a few years after. But every life is worth your fight. Every mother, every father, medical doctors and nurses, everyone needs you there in front of hospitals. So you are the first, you're the last sign of hope there in that Vigil Places, and first sign of love for people who have post-abortion wounds. So you need to be there, just get involved and fight. You are on the right side, you're on the side of the winner, and Jesus is with you.
You bet. I've just been so inspired by the faith of Croatian people, that your youth, your dynamism, your initiative. You've even got a magazine started for your organization as well. And you've really learned how to communicate a pro-life message, like convincingly, coherently, in a way that people understand. And you've had that receptivity. You haven't experienced persecution in the same way that we have in the United Kingdom, where people militantly opposed to your message and will bring in laws banning your presence outside of the centres. But you've also got that challenge of being outside hospitals, which is a little bit more abstract than being outside a centre solely dedicated for the sort of abortions and contraception, which makes the connection a little bit easier in terms of we're standing here to pray to end abortion, as opposed to being outside hospital and people with cancer and broken legs are going in. You're kind of wondering what are these people doing here? But I've been blown away with, the first mission trip to Zagreb in 2014. Never in my wildest dreams did I think that you would accomplish what you have accomplished in Croatia, and that you've also been an international inspiration to other cities, other countries around. That's been a joy and a blessing to see. And also personal spiritual transformation for you as well. How is being involved in the pro-life movement and also 40 Days for Life, how has that impacted you personally? You mentioned you got married and met your husband through pro-life work, but also how have you sort of seen spiritual growth in others? And Ante's done a brilliant job as well in getting 40 Days for Life started in Croatia. How has it impacted you personally and spiritually being involved?
Well, it for sure helped our as family and my spiritual growth, and I can see that for that 10 years just this line and it really helped us a lot. And when we lost our two babies, it was in year by year, in 6 months of pregnancies, first our son and then our daughter, and when we could hold them in our hands and sew them, and it then I felt even more connected with mother who lost their children, or for post-abortive mother, because I know that part also now, unfortunately, but it helped us, that spiritual fight here in 40 Days for Life, in Croatia for Life, helped us to heal our wounds even more quicker maybe than it would be possible the other way. So I can just say that in my life I see that spiritual growth every day, because as we always say to our leaders also before every campaign, you need to go to church, you need to go to the sacraments, you need to have your prayer every day, you need to read a Holy Bible, you need to pray rosary, you need to everything, because it's spiritual fight, and if you do all of that, then you will see spiritual growth, of course, and I think that's most important, to have also not just, okay, we are now fighting, we are activists, but we need to have praying and fasting all the time, because that's something that is holding us together. We will fall apart. Sometimes Ante and I are joking that if it's just without our fights, with our strength, we will fall apart. We don't know. I don't know, exactly. Some kind of administrations or some other stuff. It's all. It was everything was. And we didn't know that on the beginning what to do, on how to do it, but we had that spiritual strength that was moving us forward. So we learned, he's a religious teacher, I'm history teacher. We are not we didn't study for pro-life. We just started it, and we learned in our way. Every year we learn something new, and the spiritual fight and spiritual growth in our life is the most important for that fight and for learning something new.
Well, Petra, it's been a real honor and blessing talking to you today. I'm in awe of what you've done in Croatia. You've done a documentary as well, and Ante's into filmmaking now. Just incredible what you're doing. Keep up the amazing work that you're doing. You're an inspiration to people around the world. If you're watching this, thank you. Like, share, and subscribe to our interviews. Also go to 40daysforlifeinternational.com. Petra, may God bless all your leaders and volunteers in Croatia. Keep up the incredible work, and I look forward to hearing more grace-filled stories of babies saved, people getting married, and post-abortive men and women being helped and healed by your life centers as well. So thank you for what we appreciate and value so much as part of the international 40 Days for Life community. You're an inspiration to people in other countries. You've helped national movements get going in other countries, but you've really taken things up to the best level possible on a national level in Croatia. So may God be with you. And you mentioned the spiritual significance of being grounded in prayer and having that as a foundation for pro-life work. We all need that. And there's much more that we can learn and grow in that area to make sure we build everything on a strong foundation. So thank you so much indeed for this interview. May God bless you. Thank you for all the people watching this interview. May God bless you. And we look forward to seeing you next time. Thank you so much indeed. And may God bless you. And we'll see you next time.
No te pierdas los podcasts de 40 días por la vida internacional con entrevistas, reportajes y testimonios de todo el mundo.
Don't miss our podcasts with interviews, news, and reports from around the world.